Hey guys, it's Danae and I'm back again with the Philadelphia Sunday Sun every Sunday at 2 p.m. I didn't even tell you this, RaeDianz, but I'm dressed up in my Halloween costume right now. It's like I'm not super festive, but I went to get some like a latte this morning and they gave me this coffee cup that's like black.
Basically you.
Yes, and I'm like, this matches me, so Halloween costume. So I'm gonna ask you a little bit about if you're dressing up this year when we get into the show. But I'm gonna introduce you first real quick, and then I'll let you talk a little bit about yourself. So as I said, guys, this is RaeDianz. She's a multifaceted music and graphic artist and also a painter. You see some great things behind her. You go by she pronouns?
I do.
Perfect. She goes by she, her pronouns. So you guys know I like to make sure that I'm on the right page with that. But so if you see her painting or anything like that, she got a show later. So we're cutting into her time. We're thankful that she's here. But RaeDianz, I'm gonna let you introduce yourself really quick and then we'll get into it.
All right, peace, y'all. My name is Ray. I'm Philadelphia based and I'm a music artist. I'm a flautist. I'm a graphic designer and I'm a canvas painter. A lot of my art and my music is stemming from understanding mental health, living freely and expressing within a vibrant and in your face type nature, but still giving kind of like a peaceful addition to whatever space it's in. I started my journey back in 2017. Philadelphia was strange to me at first, and now it's a home I never want to leave, to be honest. Ultimately, I genuinely just appreciate just the platform itself, but then also being interviewed by Black women, because I think this is the first time I've been interviewed by a Black woman.
What?
Yeah, I've been interviewed by Black men, but I haven't been interviewed by Black women. I don't even think I've been interviewed too much by white people either. Yeah. Well, yeah, keeping it all in the family.
I feel honored to be the first, but go ahead.
But yeah, ultimately, I've been looking into teaching and working with children. I'm a psych student that's now transitioning into just being a whole music major, because I've learned recently now that I don't like clerical work at all. That's fair. I do not like, the same way you say you like the conversation. Yeah. The conversations that I have at shows, events, just even one-on-one with being creative with other people have just spoken volumes more than I could ever do within having that in that clerical nature. Yeah. Just because if I have to prepare for it, I'm more robotic. I'm way better in spontaneity.
Yes, and I say this all the time when I do my shows. So I don't know if you had a chance to like look at anything that I've done before, but I don't prepare that much for my interviews. I maybe 30 minutes to an hour before, I just do like a quick look up and a quick run through, and then I write some things down. I'm like, okay, boom, 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 boom. I remember, but that is because I like for the conversation to feel organic and natural and just real, and also flow. When you write things down, I need to spend hours and hours and hours upon researching my subject or, working on a topic, like you said, it just is less genuine because it's so it feels forced in a way. And I'm so happy that you brought up the fact that you really like to be on the same level as the people who are in your audience or supporting you or whatever like that. And because one of the things that I noticed when I was watching your videos is that I don't know if this is something you do often or just this one time, but I liked how you sat in the audience with your supporters while you're performing. Is that something that you do often?
I did. What video I do that in?
Yeah, I don't know. It was like 20, I don't know. It was something on your website.
Something out there. Because honestly, the audience is homies. It's people I know. It's people that support me, and I'm no different. Just because I'm in a different position, just because I'm getting booked differently, doesn't make me any better, any lesser. I'm just here, just like we all are. We all figuring it out. Yeah. So it's a family experience. It's always, every show that I've been to, like even the show I had last week, I'm dancing the whole time. I'm integrated into the crowd. Like these are people like that are trying their hardest, putting all of their energy out for us to basically just look at, to judge, to either buy, support, or not support. And I feel as though, like, honestly, growing up, I had a little bit miserable growing up, to be honest. I didn't know about collaboration. My parents weren't really in the headspace to be able to give. They didn't love themselves enough at the time to be able to give not only to themselves, but to give to others. So I didn't see a lot of collaboration when I started going to high school. I had a lot of family around when I was younger, and then they started to dissipate. More depression started hitting everybody.
Yeah.
So I didn't really learn how to do all those things. But when I got in this community, my headspace was more opportunist. I always kept thinking about what people could do for me, how they could save me from myself. And that took away from the experience of actually getting to know these people.
Yeah.
To support them the way that they were supporting me.
Yeah.
Like, because they had no obligation to do so.
Right.
And I got to a point where I'm just like, honestly, there is no level, there is no hierarchy unless you put that in your brain. We just experiencing at the same time. That's it.
And I've noticed that too. I'm not in the music industry, but I do work in entertainment. I guess that's what you would call modeling or this. I don't know. I'm really
you work in the industry.
And so I've noticed that too, a lot of, and I tweeted about this the other day, a lot of like opportunist behavior sort of stuff when you meet people in these interactions. And one thing about me is that I'm really perceptive and I can see, right through it. So there will be people and everybody's like, oh, this person is so nice. And I'm like, yeah, but like
why so though?
Yeah, but there's something there. Like there's something there. And so as a person who is really striving to be real and to keep it real and to kind of like turn off that opportunistic lens, how do you fit in the industry that is so much built on that? And is it ever difficult for you?
I had to check myself. Like, to be honest, I had to really be real with myself about what am I actually bringing to the table? Am I actually supporting people the way they're supporting me? How's my mental health?
Yeah.
I had to change a lot about myself over the past maybe year and a half. But then dietary changes, I don't look the same at all. I carried a lot different, but my energy got a lot better when I started focusing on my nutrition, start focusing on how do I control my symptoms of my bipolar disorder, because that stuff was actually coming out. Being so hyper, being this, that, and the third, having all these high moments, how grounded am I? How accountable am I in these situations of what I could be bringing to the table and being a better version of myself throughout? Because honestly, just because I'm being a better version of myself also doesn't obligate anybody else around me to be their best version of themselves either.
Yeah. But do you think you have been a sort of inspiration for the people around you to kind of strive for better? Or do you not think?
Yeah, I do. Yeah, okay. I didn't think that for a long time. I definitely didn't see myself in those ways, but within time, people have become more vocal about what I've done for them, or in the sense of just honestly me just being myself. I don't really got to do too much just because I'm just a happy person. Like I lived so long with not really being happy. I never knew life could feel this good. So I would never go back.
Yeah. And so can you talk a little bit about the shift as a person who didn't understand what it was like to have a happy life, only having happy moments, versus a person who is just like in a constant state of just bliss? And not
man.
As in like you don't have any low moments, because everybody does, but there is a difference there. And I would love if you could just talk about the difference that you feel internally, and also how that's manifested itself in your art, in your artistry, and your music, and just in your interactions in general.
To be honest, I think of life in a psychological perspective. My mom's a doctor of psychology, and I grew up working for her. So I got to see a lot about just how people think, how to break it down. And at first it was honestly really intimidating. I felt like there was so much wrong with me for a really long time. I didn't feel like I was normal enough to be around certain people and everything like that. And I had friends, but I always felt like the odd man out. Sometimes I still do, but like I own it. Like I think a lot of the things that I was scared of about myself, a lot of the things that, and also like when growing up, people were scared of what I would do or could do. I didn't really care. Like I genuinely had when I was really little, like I didn't think about boundaries in that way. I would do what I wanted. I sang when I wanted. I walked where I wanted. Like, and that scared the crap out of my mom. Like I'm more of a risk taker than my mother was. So I think my existence and how ballsy I was with a lot of stuff did scare her at a very young age. So she would just tell me not to do certain things, and she would kind of shut me down a lot. And mind you, I love my mom, but like her fear definitely stopped me from being able to be my fullest self.
Yeah.
So I was paused in my personality for a really long time. I wasn't being myself because I didn't think myself was good enough. I didn't think my judgment was good enough. I didn't think I could be who I am now.
Right.
And I always dreamed of being this person. I always felt her, but I just had so many people telling me I was wrong or how I should be. And I listened. I didn't know anything else. My mom told me to listen. And that's all I did. So after a while, when around maybe 2016, I think my parents were reaching ahead because they're no longer together or whatever. And it started getting real hectic at the house. My mom had like a double hip surgery and I had to take care of her while returning back to Westchester because I had to take a little semester off, got a little wild, Lord knows. But when I went back, I got my shit together. P's and Q's. I was getting A's. I was in there. I was on time. I was doing what I needed to do while commuting still and working for her. But even with me doing everything I needed to do, being supportive of the family, my parents still just weren't giving me the freedom to be a person.
Right.
And it just seemed like everything I was doing was just not good enough. And I'm like, even though I'm still going to school and still doing everything you tell me to do, I'm helping you out. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm being a healthy person at this point, working out, working on my everything, it's still not good enough. And it just came to a point where I'm just like, it's not me. And I had to abruptly leave and I head to Philly. And I
by the way, I'm sorry.
I was born here, but my mom moved me to Willingboro.
Okay.
Like, mind you, didn't know my grandma was born in Southwest.
Wow.
What?
Yeah.
Like, I'm a whole Philly John. I didn't know that. I did not know that. And I was not raised to know that. My mom did not like Philly. My mom grew up in Jersey. She liked the whole, like the niceties of everything. And Philly was really aggressive for her, but I am my father's child, so I can take it. Right. Because mind you, I was scared of the bus, bro. I was scared of the bus. My mom really had me like,
I understand.
I never took it to be scared of it.
Yeah.
Like I had so many different, I had just too many fears put on me early that it made it just really hard to be just jump into life the way that honestly we are. You taking risks, like you doing what it do. Like some of the stuff that you might be doing might have scared your parents at one point. Like, why is she taking these risks? Why is she taking these steps? And sometimes you just gotta have faith in yourself. And I didn't know how to do that until coming here and finding RaeDianz.
Right. Okay. So you talk about how important it was for you to make sure that your mental health was in the right state, while also being in a situation that wasn't necessarily the most conducive for your mental growth. Can you just speak about not even as an artist, but just as a person, how important it is to heal in a community or in a space that is also committed to your growth in that way?
When creating and being in these sacred spaces where you have a multitude of people that have their own obligations and intentions, being able to come in that space with not only a positive intention, but a healthy mindset will really it's not only lucrative for just your career, but it helps people remember you. It helps it helps so much because I could see the difference in how people interact with me now. I could see the difference in how those relationships died back then because of how I was carrying myself, projecting, defense mechanisms, not taking accountability, not just adding to the space, but draining the space. And people loved me for my high moments, but when I was low, I was low. And I let myself stay there and I made it other people's problem. Everybody had to take me out those spaces. I just kept losing myself in things and just expecting people to pick me up.
Right. Wow.
It made it really hard to have fluid moments. I see how doors closed. I see how lonely it got because I was around all these people starting because I was just getting to know them. But when I was allowing things to get the worst of me, all that stuff went away. Either I honestly, it was a bit of isolation too.
Yeah.
But I kept expecting people to come to my savior and just be everything I needed when all I needed was me. Like for real.
Yeah.
Like, so it really, it changed a lot. And I see a lot of shifts happening now. Like just the beautiful things that have just happened this year. Like, and even being able to get through deaths, through moments where the finances ain't popping, like where I gotta be back in school and I don't know if I'm gonna see my friends anytime soon. Like I went through a lot of things in the last year. How I handled it, how I carried it was what gave me the outcome that I needed.
Yeah.
It was about how I really chose to be in the situation. And a lot of the time I just kept looking for a savior. Yeah.
Yeah. And you're really spiritual, right?
Yeah, I get down with the get down. I'm not crazy deep in it. I will say I pick a tarot here and there, but like I'd say I think I'm balanced within how I see it. Because I'm not religious, but I believe in a higher power. I pray, I meditate, but I just believe in also the logic of it as well. Like the logic is what's getting me there. But I'm an emotional being, so I think that's also the thing. Take the emotion out of stuff. Our perception is not always correct.
Right.
Yeah, we could take things to heart that ain't really meant to be that. Some things just don't correlate, and sometimes we grasp the straws because it doesn't make you feel good.
Yeah.
But sometimes you got to see why it doesn't make you feel good. It may not be the person, it may just be you.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
And I think that's so true. You know, you talked about projecting earlier, and I think, you know, as people, especially and everybody's always in periods of healings and transition, but
yeah,
not committed to even doing that like groundwork. It's very easy to project the way that you feel about yourself on other people, thus making you the center of people's universe, and it's not even that deep, you know, or like
it's
like,
not.
Yeah, or you know, like you're really upset about something and this person doesn't even understand why, or they don't know how that was even put off or that was projected. And I've been a person for sure. I've done a lot of like healing and growth work over the last year and a half as well. But before I was the type of person, and there's only one specific person that made me feel this way. And it would be like certain things, and like I would just hyper like focus and analyze exactly what this person said, and like we're upset about it. And so now I'm harboring this resentment. One, I haven't even talked to them about how I feel, but two, like really placing myself at the center of their universe, you know, because at the end of the day, just, you know, like I said earlier, a lot of things really aren't that deep, and a lot of the ways that you project people are feeling about you, you know, they're not even necessarily feeling that way, but we're not having the conversations. And that's one of the things that I really appreciate about your artistry and about your work in general, is that you're really facilitating conversations. You know, you talk about mental health and how important that is for your work, and you talked about having BPD and all these things like that. How have those things worked together or against each other to make you who you are today?
Ooh, child. Having two brains has helped me see two sides of things, to understand the height and positivity, but also understanding the grounding. Like I just communication is probably like the biggest thing for me. I'm also like life path 3. That's the communicator, you know what I'm saying?
I'm a 5.
But you a 5? What you be doing? I gotta look it up later. Tell me what it is. But just that vibe of being able to talk about it. Because honestly, I remember I used to have this feeling in my chest or like in my throat. And I remember I got a Reiki last year. And somebody was just like, you're not speaking. You're not talking about what you need to talk about. I was holding on to a relationship. And mind you, I still love this boy to this day. Like we went through all this stuff in this year, talked it out and everything. And we still my dog because we talked about it.
Yeah.
I grew through it. Like I didn't get mad at it. Like, cause sometimes it's just we be getting mad, like, and let things die out and act like we scorching the earth and stuff. When we really just need to talk it out. It's all love.
Yeah.
People got their own intentions or whatever, but it's all love, bro. Like, just some people don't know how to love properly. Some people learn to love differently. Some people just don't got love in them at the moment. Like, but just talking about it. Just opening the floor to be like, yo, this is what it is. Yeah. This is how I'm feeling. And I'll always give that openness. The only time I get more frustrated is when people shut down. when I'm actually opening the floor to be like, this is what I'm feeling. Cause I think I had that recently. I had a friend, he started to like, we started hanging out a lot more often, and I was more on the one-on-one recently, just cause like trying to get papers done and everything with all these group of events was not it. So we were spending time, but in my head, I'm like, oh, this is my bro. You know what I'm saying? We watching horror movies, we vibing. And on his head, it was something different. Like, and I didn't see that, and he wasn't communicating that. And so he was to the point where he was already in it in his feelings.
Yeah.
And then when he started releasing, it felt like projection, because I'm like, over the time I was communicating that I don't want to date, that I've been feeling uncomfortable about the men that are getting close to me that are overstepping boundaries. I communicated consistently what my wants are, just in natural conversation, but he wasn't hearing me.
Yeah.
And then he chose to communicate his wants and his desires, but not listen to what I actually need. And that kind of sucked. And then he did it twice. And then in up in public, he started kind of like feeling on my back, touching on me, this, that, and the third. And I'm no, no bueno. So I communicated my feelings when I felt more comfortable. Because honestly, when people overstep in my space, I freeze.
Yeah.
Because my reactions are loud.
Yeah.
They're aggressive, and I gotta wait until I have a time to process what is happening that I don't like. So at least we don't have to be in a tit-tat. We can at least have a conversation. So when we did, like, I just didn't feel heard in the conversation. Not only were my needs not met, but then when I'm at least communicating what I did not like, I didn't really feel respected in the conversation, which made me just be like, I don't like this, blocking you, And I had to honestly sit with myself, and I'm like, honestly, this boy just needs some love.
Yeah.
Like, he just needs some love. And honestly, it may have nothing to do with me. Because high key, he might be doing this to other females too. Right. I checked him. I said what I need to say, but that's still my brother.
Right. Okay.
That's still my brother.
Okay. So you said, the past year and a half has been really important for you, and that you got this Reiki a year ago, right? And so art is a form of communicating. Sometimes things that you can't say. Oftentimes it's things that you can't say or can't verbalize, right? And so my question to you is, from a time where you felt like you weren't speaking and you couldn't really communicate that you wanted to now when you feel like you can, how has your art changed in that time?
Wow, that's a really great question. When I first started doing art in the community, I was doing it for money. So my art wasn't that good, to be honest. So I stopped for a really long time. But when the pandemic happened last year, I only got 2 payouts. They gave me 2 months pay late, 2 months late.
Wow.
And it hit once. I started Uber Eats, and I got scared of the government. Do not smoke before you fill out paperwork. The bold font just looks real scary. So then we're like, if you don't report this, then you're going to get in trouble. So I reported my Uber Eats, mind you, making dog shit. I was not making that much. Like, and mind you, I lost a lot of weight because I had to keep doing that bike shit.
Yeah.
But like, I just didn't have it was just like everything was going wrong. Like, my dad got sick, and then I had to move out because we were going at it, which was just like a really bad time for us. I had to move in with my ex. And mind you, I'm intruding in your space while transitioning to a space I need to find for myself, which is already, I don't like that. I don't like feeling like I'm either wasting people's time or overstepping boundaries. That is something that just makes me uncomfortable. So I just didn't feel like I could be myself. I was upset. I was angry. I was mad. And then my phone broke when I started doing graphics. I hit it on the side of a tub, and the backlight just started freaking out for like 2 weeks. So I had to scrounge up what I had, low 200, and got my phone fixed. So my ex is actually on like another one. I'm dapping up with all my niggas apparently, but my like one of my really dogs, his name's Josh or whatever. We were on the same plan and shit. And apparently I needed his ID to go there. I asked him that, and he said, no, you should be cool. So I'm on a bike. I'm biking to UPS, which is an hour away on a bike. I get there, it's an hour wait with this COVID fucking line, and I gotta pee, and there's no bathroom. Okay, so I get up to that joint, and what happened? I went inside, they turned me away, they told me I couldn't go. I was so mad. When I walked out, I like, when you be like mad crying, I punched the trash can in front of all these people, just mad as shit, like just mad as shit. And it's just like, what am I gonna do? These are also around the time that George Floyd protesting is going on. Everything is burning right now. Like everything is on fire. And it's just like, bruh, like, so I bike back home. I'm mad as Oh, I'm so mad. And on my way home, there's a group right near 30th and probably Lancaster. And it's a George Floyd protest. In that group, I see this girl I used to play flute with in high school. And I'm like, ah. And immediately, honestly, when I see homies, my smile just comes back up. I can't help it. But I saw her and I didn't know that was the end of where the protest was going to be. So they sat. And they sat for the time that they were kneeling on his neck. And that was what, 1348? And I sat with them. And in that time of having about 500 people, if not more, just sit in silence, in respect, it allowed all those emotions that I was having to calm the fuck down. Mm-hmm. And I had to see just more of like, there's more important things than you're upset right now.
Right.
And I was able to process a lot better and just let it the fuck go. Yeah. So when I went home, I actually I painted my face crying in an anime fashion. When I had locks all last year, but I genuinely that was the beginning of me just continuing to paint that way. Okay. Like that was everything for me. I mean, that thing's a sticker now somewhere in this bitch, but like that John, like Crybaby Ray was the first beginning of my my art, like, and it's expressive, it's bright, it's vibrant. Like this is supposed to be like a vibe of mania. Yeah. Like it's everywhere, it's all over the place. It has no settling. Like a lot of the stuff is all over the place. I make dreamy things, like things that just settle the spirit. Yeah. Because honestly, this is therapy for me. Like my brain is constantly going, and my parents are overworkers, so that's how I work. Yeah. I'm constantly working on something. I'm always doing something, but I don't know how to relax. Wow. That was something I had to teach myself this year because I threw my back out a couple times. But like my paint has evolved a lot within blending, more patience. And I didn't, when I first started painting, a lot of people were selling me out so fast that I didn't have time to like just get back up. So I'm learning more to make space. Like I did galleries this month, and I'm gonna be taking a 2-month break just because I need to sit with it. I don't want to rush just because I want to put it up immediately. I want it to be good, but I want it to come from the heart. Like I've been working on this for probably 3 months, and this is the first day I'm actually going to show it to somebody. Wow. Like, because it didn't feel right at one point, and now it does. Like the art has evolved, which is just the technique of it, and also just how I choose to showcase it, because it felt like I had to. Like same way with music, I'm like, oh, I got a song. Look at this, da 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 da. And after a while, I'm just like, all right, so what? Am I just a content creator, or am I actually creating for purpose?
Wow, I love that distinction. There. Okay, so there's just so many things to touch on in what you just said, and so the first thing that comes to mind for me is just that interesting space that you are in when you're going through a lot mentally, and your brain is literally on fire. When you're getting this whole phone situation, and then you look outside and it's the same thing. Like there's no escape in that, right?
No. Man. No. That's I think that's also the thing. Escapism ain't shit. I will beat that shit like right there. It's in your face. So let's deal with it. Let's talk about it. Not let it drag on. Right. It's a feeling.
Right. So you mentioned earlier that your mom was a psychology. Is she a psychologist? Or
she is. It's also my mom's t-shirt. I was painting this all day, and I'm like, I'm not gonna change. This is my mom. My mom was actually a singer first.
Oh wow.
Yeah, my mom's been singing. She plays the cello. She's a baker and all this shit. She's superwoman in this joint, son.
Yeah. So you also are taking a very similar path to your mom. Then you really started out in psychology, and then you're going to music. But your mom's was the other way around, or is it kind of like intertwined?
Yeah, opposite for sure. My mom and my parents. My dad's a drummer actually. Oh, okay. So they had a band for a while. This is actually like their first, my mom's first CD. Came out in 2004, Tales of the Amazon. But no, I'm saying high key. I don't think that there was room for people to second guess when it comes to the industry. Like you got to know what you need. Got to know what you want. You got to understand that it's not about always going to be about you. You got to support. You got to network. You got to do those things. My mom was getting older. she started going to school. It was just the vibe of also like how happy was she at that time, everything she was doing. Was she really fucking with everybody she was playing with? And at the time, honestly, she wasn't. She started seeing that it wasn't working in the way that other things were for her. Like my mom is an educated woman. Like she loves school. Like she psychi, all that. So like it worked for her. And she, when she opened her practice, that John was doing really, really all right. And she still has that. Like she moved to a different space, but like high key, that vibe of like it being more lucrative and feeling fulfilling for her was everything. Cause she did that more, like psych became more of a thing for her when my sister passed when I was young. And we got really, really bad therapy. We got very bad therapy. So it's like, I could do this better. Yeah. So like that vibe of I definitely do feel like I'm continuing to work because I feel like in a way, I feel like my parents gave up. Like more my mom than my dad, because my mom found something else, and my dad plays with me now. Oh, like still to this day. Yeah, it's my dog. Yeah. Like me and my dad had a hard grow up. I'm gonna tell you that. But yo, when I left home, I didn't say anything to my parents. It was a very aggressive leave. And we were not messing with each other. But me and my dad just got a very interesting bond. Me and my mom had to grow through a lot. But when I left, he didn't really want me to leave. And then within time, after my mom left him, like then it was just like, all right, where's my kid at? And I already blocked him on everything, but he got a new phone. And then and that's like people got different relationships with their parents, man. But when I was growing up, I'm like, no, this ain't that, bro. Because that's why I'm like, I have a very interesting relationship with elders and everything like that. I try to, but sorry. But that vibe of having elders and things like that, like a lot of people weren't around after a while. So my respect for adults was definitely different because I saw adults overstepping, acting childish, doing weird stuff, just strange things that they wanted to justify because they were older. And I'm just like, I know this is wrong. I know this is wrong. Yeah. Like, so I definitely had an interesting relationship with that. So seeing just my parents give up on a lot, and just wanting to make, because we all worked for my mom at one point, even my dad, like, and it was just like music wasn't a thing. At one point, my dad wasn't even playing drums that much. Wow. And that's an extension of his arm. If the stick could be on the finger band, he would do that. Like, so it definitely, I want to finish what they started.
That's beautiful.
Like, there's more people that need to hear her too. Like she has an amazing vocal, John. I'll probably be like looking to share some of her music on my next project because it just makes me sad. Like she was 24 around that time, cutting her first demo. And like just the insecurity of being a large, like she wasn't really that large, but in the 90s, like if you was over a medium or anything like that, it was like, like the confidence that I just wish that she had, because it's like being a powerhouse of a woman, being an ambitious woman is not easy, and it's not going to be easily accepted. You got to step on neck sometimes. Yeah. And she just wasn't taught that. So like, wow. Yeah, a lot of the stuff that I am is what she just wasn't at this time. It took her some time to really like mold that stuff. Yeah. And I want her to be heard. I want her to be seen. I want them both to be seen. But my dad already be out here with me, so everybody know who he is, for real.
Yeah. Awesome. Yeah, I mean, I'm sure that means a lot to her, and I'm so thankful and grateful that you were able to share that, and also talk a little bit about how you've evolved, over the years through your music, through like navigating mental health and things like that. But I have one more question for you, and then I'll let you go. So you have this like Lauryn Hill-esque sort of vibe, but it also India.Arie early 2000s a little bit too. Is that purposeful or is that just a very natural thing?
It really comes naturally. I've never heard that until I got older. I just remember this one moment where my mom was cooking fried chicken. I lived in Jersey on the cul-de-sac, and the whole crib was golden. Like the sun was setting, and it was Jill Scott, A Long Walk on the TV. And what was that, like AOL Plays or something? Like it was old school, bro.
Yeah.
That moment always sits in my head. I feel like I'm a neo soul baby. Like I definitely am a neo soul baby. My mom had me listening to Maxwell, had me listening to Jamiroquai, had me listening to that stuff in the womb. Like these things are etched in spirit.
Yeah.
Honestly, the one thing I appreciate about who I am as a person, I don't got to try that hard.
Yeah.
Yeah, it took me a long time to realize that, but because when I try hard, it don't look good. It don't look as good at all. Like very natural with it. It took me a long time to even like my natural hair, to get away from wigs, to get away
with everything that you're saying. So
yo, it's real. Living in your blackness, which I didn't realize. I didn't understand how sacred being black was. I didn't even know what type of black I was until this past 6 months.
Yeah.
Your shorty is Sierra Leonean and got some Nigerian in there. Oh. Didn't know that. Got some Irish and Welsh, random stuff. Like knowing who you are, knowing your culture, your heritage, knowing just everything about yourself, from the nastiness to the most beautiful parts, helps you embrace it. Yeah. Helps you really further that. And it didn't take that much. Sorry.
I was just going to say, for me too, that's been really important in my self-discovery over the past year. Like the pandemic really kickstarted a lot of things for me, because I was really forced to like sit with myself for those first 3 months that like you just weren't doing anything.
Nothing.
It was a lot of that too. And, people see me and they see, XYZ, but I'm like, I'm still healing and I'm still transitioning. But that couldn't happen until that I fully accepted and appreciated who I was, and I stopped trying to be whatever that thing was, that I stopped trying to be. Like the fruits just became brighter and like more luscious, and the greens became more vivid. And so I'm really happy that you've been on this journey yourself. And as a person, again, who has experienced something very similar, for whatever reason, it's really nice to talk to and have a conversation with somebody who's of that same mind frame. So I thank you again for sharing and just being so candid about your experience, and and growing and growth and things like that. And it's just great to see you. Now I haven't really seen you since, I know we follow each other, but I haven't really seen you since like freshman year. I have a video of you like in the back. You were in the background of this video with these people. And I just
loud.
Yes. I remember, because we both lived in the same building. You were in Brandywine, right?
You're in Brandywine?
Yeah.
Bitch.
Yeah. Bitch. I was in Brandywine, so that's why I remember you.
That's fucking crazy.
Yeah, I have like a video of you. It's like, I think I was going somewhere, and I'm not really a partier like that. So this probably had to be one of like the very few Fridays that I went to Star Nightclub, and it was me, first semester freshman year, and it's just a video of me like just walking, and then there's like you in the background, and I don't know, I think we might have been going to the same, I don't even know what was up, but it's just so great to see your growth and to see how you're doing and all these things like that. You said you have a show tonight. What is like a show look like for you? I know you said you do painting and all that.
You said pre-show?
Yeah.
Child, I can't wait to get a manager so I don't gotta do any of the things I'm doing right now. I usually am scrambling. I'm all over the place. Music shows are a little bit more easy to me, but honestly, with this new album coming out, I have a lot more to prepare for. So I definitely, like this morning, my pre-show ritual today, I painted, I think, until 3 a.m. Woke up at 10. I got Malcolm X be having free stuff, yo. Malcolm X Park, you having free like clothes, printers, books. I picked up mad literature this morning. I got a donut, I got an espresso. I talked to my neighbors because I wanted to be present. I know all this Russian stuff is cool, but I'm learning that if it's not done when it needs to be done, let it be. Let it be. Because I used to have an issue with just trying to do everything at once and just not letting just the time flow naturally. Like I got 2 papers due tomorrow. There's only so much one human can do. Like, and I realized that. And within having ambition, it's just, I gotta delegate differently. So I just make sure that I'm well fed. I make sure that I'm hydrated. That's a big thing for me, is making sure I'm hydrated. I like a lot of ambiance with my setups, usually showcasing. So I'll probably grab some stuff out of my room, like some ivy, my trusty little easel joint. Oop, knock something over. And I have to have probably a pre-roll at some point. Smoke needs to be there because you gotta calm the fuck down. But yeah, it's always a vibe, and I know I'm going to be surrounded by family tonight. So
right. Okay, awesome. So before we go, 2 things. Is there anything that you wanted to touch on that we didn't get to? And also drop your socials.
Yes. So honestly, honestly, we talked about a lot. If y'all got questions for me, come find me. I'm very much an open book. You can follow me at Instagram, RAE.DIANZ. I have a website, RaeDianz.com, spelled the same way without the period. I have Instagram, I have Facebook, I'm on LinkedIn. I'm looking to work more with children as well. Since I'm a teacher now, I'm working with the REACH program at St. Peter's School in South Philly. And I'm looking to extend into their REACH program, so teaching kids how to cook, because your girl can chef, you feel me? Look at the hat.
Yeah.
But I'm also going to teach them how to paint. I wasn't able to do a lot of that over the pandemic, but I was able to I got to teach high schoolers on Zoom, and I got to have a paint and sip with an LGBT group. So like, I'm looking to do more things like that. Yeah, it was a nice job, and they rolled me up the whole time, son. And I sold art there. So like,
wow.
Yeah, I just like being in spaces like that. I like having those vibes. Also, I want to give a shout out to a homie that just passed named Kelly. This is actually her hat. That's why I'm to wear it or whatever. Before she passed, I got to buy this hat. And this week has been very grief is a lot. Grief is a lot. It never stops being a lot. But being able to celebrate this week, because I wasn't sure how to grieve properly. I felt selfish. I was like, I haven't been around this person enough in the last 6 months to feel this way. I shouldn't be this sad. They deserve to feel more sad than I do. And I had to give myself grace to allow myself, because honestly, there's so many different interactions we have. We don't realize how good people made us feel.
Yeah.
Even how long it was. And I felt her. We all did.
Yeah. I mean, even a spirit transitioning, regardless of how well you knew that person or not, it feels like a loss regardless. So I'm glad that you were able to, find some grace to lend yourself, because you're human and you feel things. Like you said earlier, you're a feeler. So
Hard.
that was a friend, whether she was a friend that you met on a one-off or whatever, like a sudden loss is wild, and I'm assuming that she probably passed prematurely. I mean, that's tough to deal with. You're dealing with the loss of a human life, but it's also kind of in a way makes you face your own mortality. It's just like,
Child.
So
that woke me up.
Yeah.
That woke me up.
Yeah.
So I would say for any creative that feels like you gotta run the midnight oil to get where you need to be, don't. It's great to be productive. Don't overwork to a point where you're not seeing people. Yeah. You gotta isolate where you can't actually exist or collaborate with others. Like, there's so much life to be lived, and it goes fast. Yeah. It's not for everybody. Some people don't like people, but I love people. Like the best sides of them. But within those vibes of just being able to share those moments and congregate, it's everything. Right. Let me get off my soapbox.
I mean, mind blown. Thank you so much, RaeDianz, for joining me today, and for, like I said multiple times, just having such a candid and like a real conversation. I'm just like, I'm writing things down, like, oh my God, she's speaking to my spirit and my soul. Like, these are things.
Anytime.
So I appreciate you being here. And I thank you so much. And so, you guys, she dropped her socials. Make sure you guys are keeping up with her, following her, check out her new project. She said she got her mom on that, John. Her dad is involved too. It's a family affair. Y'all know we love a family over here. The son, y'all are my family. So please support this amazing young woman and her all of her endeavors. And also, I want to thank you guys for always supporting me and watching my episodes every Sunday at 2 p.m. Again, I'm here always with the Philadelphia Sunday Sun. Don't forget that, today's Halloween. Enjoy yourself.
Oh, yeah.
Yes. And also, if you got... Yes, normal people do scare me too. And if you guys want to check my articles out, or my colleagues as well, go to www.phyllissun.com, or you can also get us for $40 a year in print. Again, RaeDianz, thank you so much for being here, and I look forward to talking to you soon.
Won't be the last time. Yeah.
Bye.
Have a great day. Happy Halloween, baby.